like doing makeup. That's actually kind of how I started my YouTube channel, was through makeup.
Oh, really?
And then, yeah, it was through makeup. And then it just worked out better than people liked my life better than the makeup. So
Oh, really? Oh,
here we ran with it. Yeah.
so you never know how it's going to end up.
When did you start to see like growth in that? Was it like instant or was it very slow?
For me, in the very beginning, I was really not consistent with it. So I like posted like once or twice, and then I was just kind of like putting my feelers out there just because. And then I used to do this thing, which my husband and I were just reminiscing on it. It was called Farm Fridays, and it was like that was the day that I would like vlog and kind of give like the inside of what's really going on behind everything. And then that's kind of what picked up, was just so I was like not consistent, didn't post, and then randomly I was like, I'm gonna go for it. Like, people are really liking these Farm Fridays. We're gonna make everyday Farm Friday, and like obviously just be, vlogs. And then it just, once I started doing that, it was quick. I mean, I think I had my YouTube channel for like 6 months. I was just like playing around with it until then it just like it blew up. I had a lot of cards in my favor, I guess. I was like on like the creator on the rise on like the trending page, so that was just like by chance. And then it's always been like my thing now is that I have like 40 animals, but they're mostly chickens, so it's kind of funny because I can have 40 chickens, so it just kind of like was just kind of like a play on words that I had 40 animals. And then I did a feeding routine, and it just blew up, and it got like 1 million views, and then it was just kind of like, then it was like, all right, well, let's roll with it. They like to see it, so let's do it a bunch of times. And it's much easier that way anyways for me, because that's my main passion is that. So it would just be super simple, and now it's like a breeze because I just film my life every day, and something crazy happens every day.
So, Stephanie, when you first started out, though, I mean, have you always had animals, or how did it kind of, how did it go to where you, ended up with all the animals? How did that happen?
Yeah, so when I was younger, we always had animals. I mean, nothing like crazy. We lived in the city, so we had, I had a rabbit. We always had dogs. Rarely had cats. But when I was younger, I used to take horseback riding lessons.
Okay.
And then I kind of got out of it because my friend moved away that I would ride with. And then when I was in college, I got in a four-wheeling accident because I love to do that. I'm a Florida girl. This is what we do. There's not much that we do. We either horseback ride, we fish, or we ATV. And that's pretty much what we do. So I love to ATV. And my husband and I, who's my boyfriend at the time, we got in a ATV accident. So then I became like very tragically scared of ATVs. And I was like, well, one thing that I used to love doing, and I don't know why I chose an 1,000-pound animal who's in control. And I was like, I want to go back to, riding. And that's when I was in college. And so weird. I was like, if I pass this test, because I already knew I was going to get a horse, I was like, I'm buying a horse. And I passed the test, but I knew I was going to buy the horse anyways. And then that's kind of how it got going. But then meanwhile, like I had gotten like my first of my own dog, when you get to an age and you kind of get your own dog. And she was a golden retriever. And then she ended up having epilepsy. So then I was like, then I kind of like was swarmed into it because I learned everything. And then I was like, okay, this is it. Like, something's, changing for me. And because I was supposed to, like, my goal was to be a doctor. I'm a bio major. So I have a bachelor's degree in biology. And then once I graduated, I was like, this isn't what I want to do. I have a different calling, and it's animals. And then it just escalated, got into a lot of animal rescue. And now we're here with 4 dogs and a bunch of other animals. So
Yeah. So 2
she
pigs.
lives inside. Yeah, I have 2 pigs. I have an outside pig and an inside pig.
Okay. And cows. And
What'd you say?
And cows.
Yeah, we have 3 cows, 4 horses, like 20, 30 chickens, something like that. I don't know. I lose count. Chicken math. And 4 dogs. We have like 7 barn cats. And, oh my gosh, she's rolling on the ground. Sorry.
She's fine. That's fine. In your cows.
But yeah, so we have just a lot, and we just got a donkey.
Oh, how sweet. And your cows, I don't know much about cows, so you have to forgive me. I mean, they have horns. So, like, what kind of cows are they?
So technically, like, not all cows can have horns, but like some people like poll their cows. So that means they get rid of the horns. So two of my cows are dairy cows, and one is a beef cow, and he's a mini zebu. So he's like, I don't know, he's cool. He has like a hump on his back.
Yeah.
And then the other two cows, they're from dairy farms. And I bottle fed them. So they're basically like big puppy dogs because my one cow jumps on us, so he doesn't have
wow.
manners.
Oh my
So,
goodness. Wow.
yeah, he's a hoot.
And
So yeah, that's
your little chickens, oh my goodness, that you had a little hen that had a little babies, and I have chickens too, and I was like, oh, they're so sweet because we've never had baby chicks, but you have little chicks
got
too.
to.
Yeah, it's so
We
sweet.
do all the time.
Do you?
All the time. It's never ending. Like, we have the perfect weather in Florida for that to happen.
Yes.
So if eggs stay in my coop, we're hatching out babies because we've got the perfect humidity,
Wow.
perfect heat. Like, it's a live brooder in that chicken coop. But I like when my hens go broody because why not? I don't mind. I think it's fun. I love watching the hatching process. So
That's so
it's just
sweet.
fun.
That's-
I love chickens, and it's chicken math. You just go, 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 go.
I love my chickens too. They're so
You can
sweet.
say you have 20. How many do you have? Have you counted?
I only have like, what do I have? Maybe 10 or so, hens, one rooster. But I've not had chicks. So, I don't want to say how does that happen because we know. But I mean, I've never had chicks before. So I don't know if you just always leave all the eggs and don't move them and see if you get a broody hen. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's all you
Yeah,
do.
unless you incubate them. But if you just leave them in there, one will go broody. There's some breeds that are broodier than others, but
Mhm.
leave some eggs in there. They'll go broody.
Sweet. Just so cute. So,
I
and
know.
then
It's so fun.
your beautiful horses, all your beautiful horses.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have how
Horses are my
many?
babies.
Yes. How
I
many?
have 4.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I have 4. 2 are Morgans, 2 are quarter horses.
Okay.
So 2 are gated, 2 are not gated.
Okay.
So it's all a little bit of a different ride. They all have different rides.
Yeah.
So it's fun. One of them is a rescue horse from a kill pen. Not sure if you've ever heard of a kill pen before, but that horse is the only horse that I don't really ride just because he's a kill pen horse. He has got a lot of trauma. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is.
Sure.
He's got a lot of trauma. I've ridden a lot of horses, and this horse I don't want to ride often. So
Wow.
Aw.
yeah.
So do you trail ride? Do you ride a certain discipline, or what do you enjoy?
I ride Western. When I was younger and took lessons, I rode English. So I do follow a lot of like the practices of English, just not as like cut and dry. That's why I like Western, because everything that I do isn't cut and dry. It's very just out there. So I put my mix on it. But a lot of the things, like I still call a lot of things like English things, like girths instead of cinches.
Sure.
And I get people confused sometimes because I just mix the worlds. But to me, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a girth, it's a cinch, it's
yeah,
a whatever,
right.
it's a bridle, it's so whatever. So I just I'm Western. I just like doing that. I really like to work cows. We do that a lot. I like to cattle sort. That's just a fun thing because my horses love it. So if they love it, it's way more fun.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like their thing. They like to do that. We trail ride a ton. We have tons of trails in here all
Do
year
you?
round. We can pretty much
Wow.
trail ride. So that's like major thing that we can do. And then I've dabbled a little bit into barrel racing just for fun. I have a colt right now, so I'm going to try to see if maybe he wants to go down that avenue and,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I just like to have fun. I like to do a lot of weird and wacky stuff on my horses and
You have-
whatever and
yeah.
get the job done. I'm like, I think with like my YouTube and everything like that and like the community of equestrians, like I try to break out of a little bit of like the typical like equestrian. Not like there's anything wrong with it. I
Yeah.
dream, I idolize certain equestrians, but like I try to just like break out of it because equestrian world can be so crazy. And even entering it, when I entered it, I was like 19 or 20 or something like that. Back entering it, it was intimidating.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know like the crowd, and if you weren't, I was raised in the city, so I had friends that had horses and things like that, but going full-fledged, 4 horses and everything in this lifestyle and not knowing everything about the community, it can be intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
meeting people all around the world that want to get into horses and things like that, I try to make it like a really positive space because it can be so critical, and I try to just like break that barrier a little bit and just do whatever you want, and as long as your horses are taken care of, I don't care what you do, what you ride, and So that's the kind of space that I've been trying to create.
So how do you think of like all of your content? Because you post like hilarious stuff all the time. You have the best videos. We love watching them.
Thank you so much. That's so kind. I mean, literally, so funny story is when we started doing it, a lot of my family, because like I said, I have a lot of family in New Jersey. Like, we're from the city. Like, if we're gonna really put it in perspective, like my family's from the city, so I'm the only one out of my family that has any type of property like this, animals. So my life's a big funny show to everybody. So I put it online to show them because I was like, my life's kind of crazy. Like, there's things that happen that are crazy every day. And then when we were doing it, I was like, you know what? This is just so easy. So everything that you guys see, like, I literally, like, some of it's planned a little bit, but most of the stuff that happens in there is like what's really happening in between directions, because that's just what happens. And we actually call our property Crazy Acres because we had family living with us just for a couple months and got to actually feel what we do every day. And he said, man, this place is crazy acres, like, around here, because it's just crazy. So luckily for us, we have a lot of crazy stuff that happens a lot of the times, and it keeps us on our toes. And when it's not crazy, we like to get crazier. So it's just,
how many acres do you have?
We have a little over 5 acres.
Okay.
Land in my area is like few and far between. So it took us a long time to even find this. If I didn't love Florida so much, I would be out west in lots of land, but it's the compromise that we have to make, because there's really not a lot of land left in Florida that's not already, getting happy.
So how did you go from?
That's so funny.
How did you go from like living in New Jersey to moving to Florida?
So my family's from New Jersey. My parents are from New Jersey, but my family moved here before I was born. So I've actually born and raised in Florida. Like, I'm a Florida girl, but my family, like, they're from Jersey, so I'm 100%, Florida girl. We, I'm born and raised here. So that's kind of, it wasn't far between, we just, everything kind of collides. Where I live, everybody knows everybody. So whether you're doing this or doing that, everybody knows what you're doing. So it just works.
And you just did a huge barn project. Yeah. Beautiful barn that you built, just gorgeous. And you laid that out and showed people how to build a barn. And it was so interesting because you showed it from, bare bones, beginning with adding the dirt, to raise things up to, from beginning to end. That was quite a project.
Yeah, that was like a very fun time in my social media career and everything in my life. Because everybody saw me that watched me from my old house where we had just like 4 open face stalls, which is fabulous. Some people don't even have stalls or anything like that, So that to me was like, oh my gosh, like, I have 4 horses, I'm in my 20s, I have stalls, like, this is amazing. Like, so I was like, this is so cool. And then when we moved here, we didn't have a barn. We had just a little pole barn. And I was like, well, I have other animals that need to go in there. So we need this barn. And we bought our house in March of 2020. And literally the next day we put our down payment on the barn. So that barn was supposed to be there very soon. And then COVID hit and the pandemic put people out of work and everything. So we didn't have a barn, but so we made do and we fed our horses, outside, and we made paddocks and all that. So when the barn came, this was months of like, me amping it up and talking about it because I didn't know when it was ever going to come. And I was like, I wanted to come. I was just as excited. So everyone was super excited. So in those months, I think it was like 7 months without it from when we had first, decided that we were getting this barn. So I was able to look up so much and get so much feedback from everybody. That's how I found you guys, is honestly from a subscriber. So what was so cool about that is we had so much time to plan in a different way, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to like share the barn process, because I didn't think that would really interest people, but you never know what interests people. So I'm grateful that I did, because it was such a fun experience, and I had people from all around the world inputting on my barn. And I was like, what better way to get all of these brains together and, put it all together and have what we have. So such a cool experience to go in there and just be like, they told me this, they told me this. So yeah, it was a crazy, crazy big project. My husband and I are so involved in everything that we do in like on our farm and in our house and stuff like that. I have to be very involved just because like I have a vision, and it's just easier in the long run if we do it. But that project was so big at that point because of all the information that we were getting from everybody, that I wanted to make it everything everybody wanted me to make it too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we were a little in over our head or not, but we were, whether we knew it or not. And it was such a fun experience. And I wish I could like relive it again, because I got to really like create so many relationships with so many people. And I love to talk to with my followers, because that's just, they built what I have. Like they built the community, and I love it. And it's so many people with similar interests as mostly everyone on my channel loves animals, or they're equestrians. I love getting tips from everybody. So especially getting people from all around the world helping me with the barn.
Yeah.
And I would, like I said, I would have never heard of you guys. We would have just done, which are fine, like normal, like rubber mats. We would have done that, which was fine, but so grateful that everything throughout the barn is just everybody's work and all put together in one space. And it got so many people together. I still talk to people about it. They ask me all the time, like where I got certain things. And so all the time. And I was able to do that on TikTok too, and create another community over there, because that built my community on TikTok.
Yeah.
To talk to everybody there. And it was just a really fun experience, doing that and getting able to go into it.
Yeah.
Getting like all of that information, it must not have felt like information overload to you. You were so happy to have all of that information. But what were your like biggest takeaways that you would tell other people that you didn't like think about, that all the community gave to you?
Oh yeah, like water system. Everyone has a really big opinion on water system. I know that's so crazy, but like they're like, put water all throughout the barn, like line the barn, like plumb the barn, and we weren't really going to. And I was like, man, I'm not like lazy. Like I can take my hose and I can fill up all the water.
Yeah.
And boy, am I lazy, because I don't know what I would do if there wasn't.
Your water system is great. I mean, you did a good, that's very good. And especially being in Florida, that's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just makes everything's like, it's just right there. And, that was like probably one of my best things, because I didn't realize how essential like that was. And like, I didn't know. I always filled them up. I would take buckets off and go to the hose in my old house. And that's what I was used to. And I mean, this is like a fancy barn to me. My barn's fancy. So, and obviously I love our stall mattresses. I mean, I never even heard of that. So I was like, there's something like this. Like we can do something like this, waterproof. Because in our last house, the barn always got flooded, because we live in Florida, we're Sunshine State, but we get flooded. Like we get rain. When I tell you we get rain, we get like
downpours. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So our last barn, I would be out, knee deep water feeding my horses. So I was like, man, I really want this to be super, super waterproof. And then with that, I was like, this is genius. Like, never again will there be dirt under my stall mats. I won't have to walk in mud. So, that's my thing now. Is like, I like everything to be high and dry, and the stalls to be dry. We battled through so much thrush throughout the years, like in Florida. So, just that aspect alone is great. So those things probably like are my biggest. We had the layout good, and then another thing was a wash rack inside, which we still haven't finished, so I'll do that. But I was gonna do 6 stalls originally, and I feel like when you have the amount of stalls, you're gonna fill them. So I was like, I better not do that. I really
You are so right. You are so right. That was good.
For one more. So I was like, I'll do 5 stalls, one more wiggle room. So, and then we turned that into a wash rack, which isn't done yet, but it will be soon. And then we added a little storage. So those were big ones. We're like, you're going to need storage. And I'm like, yeah, I am going to need storage. So storage, indoor wash rack, which is like crazy to me, because I would have never thought I would have an indoor wash rack. Like that's that's really fancy barn for us down here. In my area, because on the other coast of Florida, you've got fancy barns like that. So.
And your water system is so awesome. I just want to mention that if people haven't seen it, that they can go to your YouTube channel, find it, and look at your barn building and your barn. And it's awesome, because you piped water to each stall. There's a shut off and a hose to fill up each bucket, so you don't have to drag the hose around. And that's a big thing, right? You don't have to drag that hose around, and that's so. Please, take a look at the YouTube channel.
It was so inexpensive too. Like it was a great investment, but I can't even call it an investment because it was so inexpensive. Like CPVC is so affordable. And, to run our barn, I mean, it's not huge, but it's not the smallest barn, and to run the whole thing, I mean, it was very, very affordable. I don't even think it was more than maybe $100 to run it. So it was just something that was like that was great. Out of my hands and
Yeah.
easy enough. And there's a shut off because again, I'm afraid of flooding. That's why I don't have automatic waters. There's a big debate on waters. But I can't do the automatic waters. I'm too scared.
Is there anything that you're thinking that you would have added or done differently? Like Kristen was asking about the takeaways, but your barn is so pretty. I mean, is there anything that you thought about now that you might add to? I know you talked about your, like where you can groom your horses or have a, place to be able to, groom them, that type of thing. Is there anything else that you are thinking of, or maybe you don't want to say just yet, too?
Well, I mean, I don't know because like I'm just so satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Like everything that I have in that barn, I'm like so grateful for anyway. So it's so hard to be like, man, I wish I had this because it's like, man, I have this. Like, I have this.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I'm so grateful for it. It's just even be able to have like a center alleyway and I don't know. I'm sure if I went to other barns because I did that so often before I went and built mine because I wanted to see what everybody had and
sure.
So now it's like
you're happy.
I could probably go in someone's barn and say, oh, I really want that. But my barn, I do love.
So
when that wash rack's done, I think I'll be in good shape.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything that you would tell people that want to have several different animals that, they may be thinking or they want to just kind of get started that you might tell people about that side of it? That it's, it's an everyday job, right? There's no holidays.
Yeah, there's no vacation really. I mean, my husband and I, we just went on our first vacation in like 4 years. And it was a very short one, but it's just priorities. I know animals aren't for everybody.
Yeah.
They're not for a lot of people, even just having one dog or two dogs, it doesn't compare to like having a lot of animals, especially equines. Equines are like, you're in it for the long haul.
Yes.
So, like you, especially in like the equine industry and stuff like that, you to me, when I'm getting a horse, like that's my biggest thing is like, I don't want to have 6 horses because those are maybe if I got a really young one, it would really be really old when I'm really old. And I don't know if I want to do with all that. So it's just, priorities. There's a lot of things that I had to change when I decided that I was going to do all this. And, obviously I didn't just get all my animals one day. They streamlined. So little by little priorities started to fall off. So I didn't have time, like one of the weirdest things is like to get my nails done. Cause people always say your nails are never done. I'm like, if I could find some time to get my nails done, I'll let you know. But that stuff doesn't bother me anymore because I love coming home and, I love to be around my animals and it's really just priorities. And I think it takes like just certain people that can do with it because animals are fun and cute and they're dirty. Like there's a lot of dirty jobs. Like I'm like half the time I'm dirty. So you got to be able to deal with it and not and like not be skeeved out.
Yeah.
So when you started this and getting all of the animals, I mean, you said a biology major, correct? So I'm sure you're have that mindset of like really studying and researching things, but bringing horses in and not knowing anything about them, is there any like advice that you could give people who are just starting that may not know, like things that they should be doing? Because you need to take care of your animals too to make sure that they're okay. There's a lot of things that like if you've never been around them, you need to really consider.
Definitely research. A lot I networked with a lot of people. Obviously I love doing that clearly. And I met a lot of people in the horse world before I got horses. And I am a big advocate because I didn't do it myself. And it's so weird because you always give advice to people that you don't take, but like leasing horses, like lease a horse, volunteer at a barn, like, because, that puts into perspective before you have to take the bill. And, a huge big on like lease a horse, be around them, visit other people's farms. In my area, at least, there's so many farms that you can actually go and visit, to, and volunteer. Like we want volunteers, so I can imagine there's people, but basically, learn a lot and follow trainers. I use YouTube a lot too. I learned a lot on YouTube. Obviously it's not hands-on, but that's what I like to do with my videos too, is I like to, do the good, the bad, the ugly. I talk about everything with livestock, and coyotes and, things like that, just so, and they see when my horses go to the vet, because I always tell them, I'm like, it's rainbows around here, but sometimes it's raining. So, and I share, I'm very open with sharing like vet bills and costs like that. Cause I really want my, I want to change the space, and I don't think it needs to be a secret, because I think advocating for horses in general or any animals, lay it all out. Don't let it be a secret.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, you'll find blanket money here, money there of like how much this costs, but that's why I did it with the barn. I just was like, you know what? Let's give it all out, because that's what I was looking for when I did my barn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm very like, any costs, I have like cost breakdowns of like about horses and things like that, obviously just relative to my area, but that's what I try to do through my videos, is educate on all sides of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be an advocate that's just like, go get all these animals. It's fun. Because
right.
it's
So
wild,
easy.
Right.
Yeah. So I do try to show even parts that maybe I would be a little bit vulnerable to show, because it's not, you know, it's not for everybody, but I want to be a good advocate. You know, I rescue a lot, and I don't want to put animals into situations where someone's not ready for it.
Yeah.
So
And
if I
that's
can
like to prepare people for that, because that's what I'm saying. The people that, you know, they just love horses. They've always loved horses. They want to get a horse. It's not the same as getting a dog. I mean, even sometimes when you get a dog that's like not what you thought it was it, Gretchen?
No, Gretchen just
We
got her
even
first
had
puppy a
dogs.
while ago. Yeah, her first one on her own. Yeah.
She had no clue, and she cried the first
Yeah.
couple weeks.
I wasn't expecting to get a dog that would just bark for 4 hours
Thought
straight.
she'd get this
if
little
I
puppy
wasn't
that would
there.
just lay on her and love her.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
her little
I
dog
know.
is very
The biggest
vocal.
attitude,
vocal,
I think.
extremely vocal, and she really has, you know, a lot of personality. So she just didn't expect it, you know. So
Yeah,
that was-
dogs are, you know, like I said, I have an epileptic dog. I did not expect that.
Right.
That was a curveball.
Mhm.
I got her when I think I was like 16 or 17. I'm like, what did I just do? Like, I didn't know that she was gonna have epilepsy, but
Right.
you know, you got to roll with it. Thankfully, my parents at that time were able to help me through it. But you know, even now, I'm really leery. You know, we've had our fair share of, you know, like my kill pen horse was supposed to be completely different than what he is.
Yeah.
You know, and we're into year like 3 or 4 now, and you can't even catch him hardly in the pasture still. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so definitely, you know, that it happens. You get burned here and there. I mean, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know if it's a burn, because I don't know if people could handle it maybe like I could. And, you know, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and maybe I was supposed to be dealt those cards.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, just, we got a donkey the other day. And
Mini donkey or a big donkey?
she's a standard donkey.
Standard.
Aw.
She's super, she's like a 2 out of 9 body scale rating for my vet. She's super, super skinny, which is so far out because donkeys are so known to be, you know, get overweight so easily. You know, I didn't think I was going to get that. That was, you know, crazy to me how that whole thing even worked out, because I didn't even know I was getting her or what I was getting. And you just kind of like, I'm like, you know what? This could be good. She might need me more than I need her, my donkey. So, you know, she needs some feed. So I've got some feed. So we're, you know, we're putting her back to health, and she'll live here. But, you know, so those things that, you know, you just got to be prepared that that's going to happen if you're getting involved in animals, because they're not an open book. So you just got to take them for face value, I guess.
Did you ever consider your content when you're speaking to people? Like, do you ever get like, should I talk about that or not? Because like you said, you like to put your prices out there. It shouldn't be a secret. I agree with you. And did you ever feel like, you know, I'm not sure, but then you just went forward? Do you ever think about it, or is it just this is what it is, guys? Here I am.
I do debate that sometimes, but at the end of the day, I usually just go for it. Because, you know, it's my social media, and, you know, I think that I want to put out on my social media what I also want to see. And those are things that I want to see.
Yeah.
So, you know, that, and you don't know who it benefits. So I can think about all the people that might not like it, you know, but then I don't like to focus on that.
Right.
I like to focus on the people that it's going to benefit, because I'd rather, you know, benefit 2 people in that situation than have all, you know, and then not care about all the negative about it. So, and I know there's tons of people that it's helped. Some people may not like it, you know, and think it's too much, but I'd rather just focus on people that like it. And, you know, and I luckily I don't really have that issue a lot, where, like, I'm very grateful, like, my following, the people that run it on my channel and all my socials, and people I deal with every day, like, are very, you know, I'm very considerate to me and those things. So, you know, I just go for it. You know, I used to think about a lot of things, and, you know, I go for it. I had that, you know, realization with my esthetician the other day too. 'Cause like she was like, oh, is it okay if we do some extraction? I'm like, go for it. I was like, I don't care what I look like. because I'm not going to hide from anything, because I know that there's people out there that want to see me, and I'm not going to let this stop me. So
Just be real, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
this is, and that's the thing. Like, I have to give it all, because if I give some, then it's just not going to make sense.
Yes.
I know.
So if I just
Yeah.
give it all, it's just like, this is it. I'm just a human like all of you. And I think we forget that sometimes, like, because what's crazy to me is, like, you don't have a following, and I meet my fans, or whatever you want to call them, my subscribers. I hate to call them fans, but because they're just like my people.
Yeah.
But and I meet them, and I'm just like, we're the same. Like, we are both people. So it's really fun. And so I like to keep it real and just all around, and just lay it all out. It's hard to, especially in the equine industry, like I said, it's hard. It's hard to figure out some things sometimes. So
with
if I can be on the internet and help.
With being such a big creator, do you ever get negative feedback or hurtful things said to you, and how do you deal with that?
Like I said, I don't often, but there is times here and there. It's the internet. It's going to happen. I knew that going in. Like I said, when I had my ATV accident, all bets were off. Life changed for me. I really, at that day, was like, man, like, I hate to have this attitude, but like, I can die any day, and we all can. And, life is that precious. And I was not going to skip another day worrying about what people thought about me. So when I see it, I don't acknowledge it sometimes, but, when I do, I'm just like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Maybe I'm not your person. Maybe, I can't be everybody's. It's impossible.
That's right.
So, luckily, it's not hard for me to put that away, just because I've had an experience where I know those things aren't, like, they're so minute to me.
Sure.
And when people do, the hardest critics that I get will tell me if I'm doing something wrong with my horses, or if I'm doing something, where they just don't agree with it. And it's all love, because I know we're not all going to agree on the same things. And I know that 4 horse people can do completely different things, and we can all end up with the same exact result. And I can literally prove it and test that theory 100% of the time.
That's so good. That's so good.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it if I took it to heart. And I love, 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 love the community that I've built. And I wouldn't want to get discouraged because of that. I try to just, we push past, and we just move on. So I don't want to get kicked off. I don't want to kick myself off the internet, because I'm hurt when there's lots of people out there that change their life. So, it's a crazy thing to think. And,
So, Stephanie, I have to ask you a question. Your husband's so cute. He does so many things with you. You work together, and you actually I saw one of your videos. I mean, he was so cute. You're trying to get the predators, and he actually got into the live trap cage for you, and he's so sweet. You guys, do you do everything, like a lot of things together? And then I know you do your work together. How does that, is he an animal person, or how did that all kind of, that's why I'm asking, like, tell us about that a little bit,
We do everything together. I don't know if it's healthy or not. Everything together. We go to the grocery store. We do every single thing together. We feed together. We have such a good relationship. Luckily, he shares the interest that, I love. And he's a great trooper.
He is. He's so cool.
He's
so cute.
He's like my ultimate best friend. He's in it for the long haul. He's the same way in respect to where we both don't care what's in the way, like, what people think, or so it's helpful. We just go all the way, and when we do something, we're going all the way for it. So,
such a great team.
I'm so grateful for him. He's so handy. So everything on, our property is all thanks to, his skills. So he's so handy, so helpful. He's just literally probably one of the best people I've ever met. He's such a generous person in life. Like, I have seen him he's just such a kind person. So he helped out with a lot of farms around here.
That's
and
wonderful.
He's always there. He's a great person. I'm so lucky, because he's
what a nice,
always there. I know he's a great,
yeah.
He's so supportive with, like, my YouTube, and he'll do whatever if he has to film me, or if he has to do great stuff, because we both have full-time jobs, and then we have to film, and then we have to take care of the animals. So he doesn't skip a beat, because, like, I would say, like, I'm maybe A-type personality, and he's like B-type personality, but it works because he's like trying. He's like, I'm good. So
that's so
great.
good.
So kind of like switching gears a little bit, but you are so busy all the time. So how do you find time to relax, and what do you enjoy doing, like, when you get downtime?
I love to be busy though. Luckily for me, like when I'm bored, my husband always says, "You just throw something in to make us stressed out." Like if I'm bored, like you'll know I'm bored when I like foster a dog or like get a new dog or like that's when I'm getting bored because he's like, which I shouldn't say it like that because
So
I don't
cute.
do it just doing that. But like I'm like I need something to get me going. Like that's what really gets me going in life. I love being busy. But I mean, we all like to like really late at night. I'm like a super big night owl too, so I like to stay up really late. He goes to bed often, and like I'll just stay up, and that's when I kind of hang out. I like to watch YouTube, of course. And then other than that, I love to hang out with my animals. Like that's why it's hard because I'm busy, but I'm busy with something that I love.
Yeah.
So it's like, am I busy? Like so, I never feel like I'm missing something, if that makes sense. And when I am relaxing, like I said, I'm either watching YouTube, I'm riding my horses, doing something in Florida that we do, going to the beach. So it's simple, I guess. Yeah. I don't require much as long as I have it around and I'm good. But we are busy, but I do like to be busy. So to me, it doesn't feel busy. If you ask Mike the question, I go from project to project. I'm like, okay, now my pig pen needs to be redone. Now I need more chicken coops. He's like, can we finish one thing first? But
it's so cute.
How it goes.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll enter our next segment, Canter Banter.
This podcast is brought to you by Ram Horse Fencing and Stalls, the one-stop shop for your horse farm. Ram is family-owned and operated and has been in business for over 30 years. We welcome you to call in and speak with an expert about your next project today at 866-653-8984. Again, that's 866-653-8984. Do you love horses and live the equestrian lifestyle? Be sure to check out our brand new blog at www.yourhorsefarm.com. We publish 3 posts per week and feature a free printable equine checklist every month. Yourhorsefarm.com is a great equine online resource, so be sure to share with all the horse lovers in your life. And remember, laugh much and ride often.
Everything crazy happens. Like our
time.
cows get out all the time. I mean, and our neighbors have to put them in. My horse got stuck in our woods.
How do your neighbors handle that? Are your neighbors farm people or?
They're not as like farmy as me. My neighbors have horses, but not necessarily. So they will either call me, but they really try to bring my cow back into my yard. And of course, whenever the cow gets out, I'm like miles and miles away. So I'm like trying to explain, I'm like, just grab his ear just a little bit. Don't pull too hard because it'll start to pull back on you. And my poor neighbor, she's an elderly woman and she's got a lot of grit though. And she tries to put my cow in the pasture. I'm like, just leave him. I'm like, just leave him. She's like, but he's going towards the road. I'm like, just leave him. I'll get there. So my neighbors are so accommodating though. So when they see my cow out, they're like Johnny on the spot. They try to get him back in.
How sweet.
He is a beast. So I pray for them. I'm like, I'm going to pray for you. I'm so sorry what you're about to deal with, but good luck. And thank you. But I don't know. Now I feel like I don't know if I have anything funny. Like, I mean, I can re-say something, or if you want me to.
Have you had any videos that like are the most
outtakes
viewed because of your outtakes, or?
I know my most viewed one is my feeding one.
I saw your feeding video, and it was just, I mean, it's amazing. You have your little pig.
Yeah.
Your little pig.
Yeah, that's actually right before I was like, it was like 4:57 or something like that, and there's a window right in front of me, and it's to my cow pasture. And I was like screaming, I was like, Mike, Penelope's in the cow pasture. She's not allowed out there because both my pigs are unaltered. So I don't want piglets. So she's out there and that's my piglets too. And I'm like watching him and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's about to be 5 o'clock. Please get the pig. Like, so it was really funny. But yeah, she's a hoot. I'm going to show you guys the window that's in front of me because I was literally watching it as
you
we were
are
starting.
So funny.
I actually, hold on, maybe see if you guys can see this through my phone because I took a picture right before because I was like, well, if this is
so like stay tuned because you don't know.
Right.
Literally here, let me see if I can show you guys. This is my husband picking up my pig.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at that. Aw.
picking her up. So that's like what I'm directly looking at with him trying to get her. And I'm just like,
Funny.
okay, the
my-
meeting's about to start. And I saw this right before, and I'm like, score. And then you guys showed up, and I was like, oh, hello.
That's perfect. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having
Thank
me.
you.
We hope you enjoyed listening to our podcast and encourage you to share with all your equestrian family and friends. You can tune into the Late Night Riders podcast show every Friday night. Each episode will be uploaded exclusively on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all of our latest shows. Do you have a topic you'd like us to discuss? We want to hear from you. You may email us at podcast@ramfence.com or feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you again for listening.